Hey, it's Kelby. In this video, I'll show you how to use Rock My Retirement's 3D graph. The 3D graph is just a series of 2D graphs stacked together so that you can quickly and easily see how changes to your information and strategies affect all scenarios at once. Let's take a closer look at how that works. Now, remember that Rock My Retirement's 2D graphs simulate how your retirement would perform if the economic conditions during your retirement are similar to the economic conditions that existed in a particular historical period. If you input new information about your circumstances or strategies, that 2D graph will immediately show you how those changes affect your retirement's performance in that scenario. However, the 2D graph only allows you to see one scenario at a time. That's where the 3D graph comes in. The 3D graph begins by displaying your retirement's performance in the 1926 through 1955 scenario. So the front edge of the 3D graph is exactly the same as what you see in the 2D graph when it displays the 1926 through 1955 scenario. We'll call that scenario 0. But then we also build a simulation for the 1927 to 1956 scenario, or scenario 1. The 3D graph displays that curve immediately behind scenario 0. Then we do the same thing for scenario 2, which is 1928 through 1957, and then for scenario 3, and so on, until we have displayed all of the scenarios we can simulate using the available historical data. Once we have generated simulations for every scenario, imagine that we lay a blanket over the top of all those lines to create a three-dimensional surface. This allows you to easily see all simulations at once. The surface will update in real time as you change any of your information or strategies in Rock My Retirement. Let's take a quick moment to review how to adjust the view of the 3D graph in Rock My Retirement. We can rotate the graph by clicking and dragging a point on the graph. Where you click on the screen will determine the axis of rotation, and you'll get used to how that works as you play around with it. If you hold the Shift button while you click and drag, the graph will move up, down, left, and right. If you click the Reset View button, that will position the graph's location and rotation to the default position. The vertical scale knob allows you to change the scale of the dollar values. If you left-click any point on the surface, the graph will display the scenario and year associated with that point, and the amount, in this case the total assets, that the simulation projects for that year of that scenario. One last thing to note, the surface has a line that represents the scenario that is currently displayed in the 2D graph. As you change the scenario in the 2D graph, the line in the 3D graph will adjust accordingly. The 3D graph sets Rock My Retirement apart from all other retirement planning software. It allows you to see how any change in your information or strategies impacts all historical scenarios at once. This is incredibly helpful because you'll find that given any change, you may improve your retirement performance in some scenarios while compromising performance in other scenarios. Seeing all of the simulations at once allows you to quickly recognize what kinds of economic conditions will cause you problems or help you with any change that you make. With the 3D graph, you can fine-tune your strategies to strike an optimal balance so that you can protect yourself against problematic conditions while maintaining performance in less problematic conditions. Well, that wraps up our discussion of the 3D graph. It's a powerful tool, and I hope that it helps you rock your retirement.